And it does. How do I look? Do I look like royalty to you? Off with the head! Hi guys, Sophia for my great challenge. I am making Galette des Rois today, ahead of the Epiphany. It is the traditional Epiphany cake for the French. It's an almond puff pastry cake, and the tradition is to have a fava bean or a fève. I'll put pictures right here so you can see them inside the cake, and whoever gets the slice that has the fava bean gets to be crowned king or queen for that day and has to pick his own king or queen. The following weekend, whoever was picked as the king or the queen has to invite everybody over again for a second cake, and then we stop. Because otherwise we'll be going on every weekend until Mardi Gras with a Galette des Rois. So I think it comes from Middle Ages, and they actually had the fava bean. Eventually they started making little ceramic fèves, and there's people out there who actually collect those fèves. Every year it's a different one. Sometimes there's series, they could be religious, they could be animals, they could be regular things, you know, like an iron or a coffee pot. I mean, they're starting to make them a little bit more modern. But they are really, really cool, and if you buy them in ceramic, you can actually cook your entire cake with this little fève in it. In my case, I don't have a fève. That's not something that I brought with me when I came from France 30 years ago, and I also don't have any dry beans. So what I'm going to do for mine is grab a button downstairs, and once my galette is done, I will insert a button in from the bottom of the galette, and then whoever gets the button gets to be crowned king or queen for the day. I'm going to start with showing you all the ingredients, so let's get baking. Here are the ingredients for the Galette des Rois. You need 2 sheets of puff pastry, and this one I bought frozen, so I'm letting it rest on the counter so that it can soften and I'll be able to unfold it. So you need 2 sheets. You're going to need 1/4 cup of almond paste, easily found at your grocery store. 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter, 1 egg, and we'll need another one at a later time to give the color to the pastry, and 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, and the same thing with vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and the last ingredient is a pinch of salt. So I'm going to start by making the almond paste that is inside the cake. And for that, I'm going to take my almond paste and put it in my little food processor here and add just about half of the sugar. Not all of it, about half. And we're going to blend this until it forms a paste. Okay, so this is all blended together. Next, I'm going to add my butter, and remember the butter is softened. So I'm going to add it in little pieces because I need it to blend well. And I will add the remaining sugar as well. And once I have it smooth, I'm just gonna go ahead and add 1 egg. And once it's well blended, I'm just going to go ahead and add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whoops, was a little bit too much, that's okay. And a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. And to that, I add my 2 tablespoons of flour. And a pinch of salt. And you guessed it, we blend. And that's pretty much it. That's all you gotta do. I'm going to put this in the fridge for a little bit while I work on my dough. The dough has to be shaped in a circle, both of them, and they have to be put in the fridge, so they have to be a little bit hardened before you put your paste directly onto it. So this goes in the fridge, and when I come back, I'm making the dough. Well, making the dough, setting up the dough. Okay, so I'm going to make circles out of my dough. I'm gonna throw a little bit of flour on my counter, and then I take 1 sheet and I'm opening it ever so slightly. You don't want to break it. Now the thing is that you also do not want to knead it or roll it. You just keep it exactly this way. Then all I have to do is pretty much make a circle out of it. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Okay. Then I'm taking a baking sheet that has parchment paper on it already, and I'm just going to grab my dough like this and put it right in the center of my baking sheet. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other pastry dough that I have. And these two, like this, go in the fridge to harden a bit. Before I start anything, I'm gonna take 1 egg. That's gonna be my egg wash. It's gonna go on top. Okay, put that to the side. Make sure you have a brush. And I'm taking my first dough. I have my almond paste right here. And what I'm gonna do is spread my almond paste all the way up to about 1 inch. You see, because I put it in the fridge, it hardened a little bit. And now I'm taking my second round, putting it right on top, and I'm going to close it on the side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is puffing anyway. With my knife, I'm going to make a little design. So I'm going to cut You can do leaves, you can do crisscross. I'm gonna do crisscross. And on top, I do want to leave a couple of vents. So I'm gonna do one vent here and one vent here. And we're gonna do a vent here and a vent here. So if I had a fava bean or a actual fave, I would have put the fave somewhere in there in my paste before I put the top, but I don't have any. And again, I will put a button later on. So now I'm ready to do my egg wash. Just gonna grab my brush. And in the oven it goes for 15 minutes. And that gives me plenty of time to clean up. At 15 minutes, I'll put it out of the oven and I will sprinkle confectioner's sugar over it, and then another 10 to 15 in the oven and we're done. Reminder, oven is at 425. So I'm going to do my dishes, and when I come back, we'll pull it out of the oven, just look at it, sprinkle the confectioner's sugar and put it back in, and then we'll wait and taste it. I got about 3 minutes before I pull it out. I went downstairs and went into my stash of buttons and found one that's shaped like a star, and hope you can see it says believe. That's perfect, and it's flat enough. So traditionally what we used to do in my family, and I think it's pretty much everybody in France, when you cut the slices, you want them to be a surprise. You don't go around like, you know, whoever's seated, you go to the next person, next person, next person. So the youngest kid in the room, when I was a kid, it was always me, would go underneath the table and would call out whose slice it is. So it was great because you had to remember whoever else was at the table. And when I was a kid, we used to have a lot of family members over. So there would always be more than one galette des rois. Sometimes there was 2 or 3. Depending on the amount of people we would have over. So I would go under the table and mom would do the cutting and she says, okay, who gets this slice? And I would call out, you know, my brother, or I would call out my cousin. All right, who gets this slice? And I would call out somebody else. So it was a great memory game for me to remember who else was in the room. And we're talking like, we used to do that from the time I was 2.5, 3 years old. And again, whoever gets this gets to be king or queen and has to pick a king or a queen. So I'm gonna pull out slices for all 4 of us. We'll see when we get lucky and one of us will be crowned king or queen today. If nobody gets it, then I'll have to let you know at a later time who got to be king or queen. I'll probably put a picture somewhere on Instagram to show you, but no matter what, either I get it and I'm queen and I get to pick a king, or I don't get it and either of my 3 men in the house will have to pick a queen. So regardless, I'm queen today. Oh, before I forget, don't put the button in the oven, okay? It's gonna melt inside your galette des rois. You want to put the button, if you have a plastic button like I do, put it at the end once it's kind of cooled off. And you're supposed to eat it warm. So it used to come directly, either my grandmother made them or we bought them at the pastry shop. And once you get it home, you would put it on a very low oven so that we could eat it slightly warm. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. Let's look at it. Ooh, what a beauty. Okay, so here's round 1. I'm going to put my sugar on it. Back in the oven it goes for another 10 to 15 minutes, so we're going to do 12 and a half. And in case you're wondering what's going on here, because I got to share, right? Hold on. Let's do 12 minutes. Here we go. All right, it's New Year's Day. We all have traditions. In Scott's family's tradition from the South, we gotta have black-eyed peas. So I made them with bacon bits, well, actual bacon. The laurel is from my mom's garden in Normandy, onion, garlic, and a little bit of cumin. And I cooked it not only in the bacon juice, but also in duck fat. And then this here, it's pretty hot, is the lentil. So in France, for good luck, you get to eat lentils on New Year's Day. So this is lentil with bacon, duck fat, garlic, onion, carrots, and chicken broth. And it's delicious. We're gonna have food for quite some time. All right, here we go. Galette des Rois. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit before I insert my button. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna slice it, and Willie, you need to go in the dining room and you're gonna call who gets the slice. Okay, Willie, who gets the first slice? Edward? Okay. Galette des Rois. Let's see if someone is going to be crowned king or queen today. And if not, I guess for dessert tonight. Thank you very much.
I'm going to sit on the counter.
Go ahead, Willie. And then let's try this.
Very good.
Tastes like home. How'd you like it?
It's like black-eyed peas. What'd
No.
you put in it?
It's the only way we could get rid of them, Dad.
Oh man, this is so good. What do you think, Willie?
It's not my favorite, but I like it, you know?
You like it, but it's not your favorite. Okay, another meh from Willie.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Ed?
Let me eat this.
This is so good. You gotta try it. You see how easy it was to make? So easy.
How long did this take you?
Not long at all. Maybe an hour altogether?
What are the ingredients?
Hmm?
What are the ingredients?
You mean what are the ingredients?
Yes, I mean, what are the ingredients?
You'll have to watch the video. I'll give you the recipe. You can find the recipe down below. I got it from All Recipes, and that was the closest one to the actual cake. So, oh, look at that! We got a king!
I'm not gonna win this.
Your Majesty.
Y'all gotta do what I say.
Oh boy.
I'm not paying taxes.
I can't believe you got it. All right. So we have a king, and we're gonna assume that you're gonna do
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
did you like it?
yes.
Where's Electra?
What do you give it?
10.
A 10 out of 10?
Yes.
Scott? Willie?
Yeah.
You liked it? What do you give it?
8.
8 out of 10? Okay, Willie's an 8 out of 10. The ever so impressed William.
This
Does it have,
averages
like, some kind
to
of-
a 9.
Huh?
This averages to a 9.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't give your rating. Give your rating.
Does it have some kind of fennel or something in it?
It's almond paste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
9.
9?
Dad gives it a 9.
Alright.
9, 10, 9, 8.
I think that averages
7, 6, 5,
I give it
4.
3,
Um,
2, 1. Yeah, the average is a 9.
I give it a 9. When I was a kid, they used to have a little bit more of the almond chunks in it. But this is absolutely delicious. So, I'm gonna let you go. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and you're going to make it for the Epiphany this year. It's easy to make and you can tell they liked it. So comment down below, let me know if you plan on making it or if you've made it in the past or if you're familiar. If you have a different recipe for the Epiphany, let me know. Are you guys goofing off?
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
nothing of the...
And that would be it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you did. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at My Great Challenge. And then if you want to see more of this type of shenanigan and more intimate look into my family life and my private life, you can join me on Patreon at patreon.com/mygreatchallenge. Thanks for watching. Bye! Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.